All right, let's dive into this Aide thing. From the looks of their GitHub repo, this is something pretty different.
Yeah, it's being called AI native, like designed to work with AI from the beginning.
So for our listeners who aren't programmers, an IDE is basically a developer's main tool, a supercharged text editor just for writing and testing code.
Like, all the tools a carpenter needs in their workshop, all in one place.
Exactly, and Aide is trying to stick a smart robot assistant in that workshop.
Good analogy. And what's interesting is they're basing it on VS Code, which is already really popular.
So familiar, but with AI sprinkled on top. Okay, I'm interested. What's this combined chat and edit flow thing?
So imagine you're stuck on some code and you want to brainstorm with a colleague. Usually you'd switch to like a chat app or something, right?
Right.
Aide brings that conversation right into the IDE.
So I can talk about lines of code while I'm looking at them.
Yep, no more switching back and forth. You stay focused on the code.
That's pretty slick. Now, what about these proactive agents?
Game changer. You familiar with linters? They're like spell checkers, but for code.
Oh yeah, they catch all those little errors.
So Aide's AI agents look at what the linter finds and try to fix them. But get this. They use these features, go to definition, go to references. It's how they understand the context of the code.
Wait, so it's not just fixing typos, it's actually getting what I meant to do.
Yeah, precisely. It's like an AI pair programmer. Not only catches errors, but can even ask you for clarification.
Okay, now I'm impressed. This is going way beyond just simple assistance. What else can Aide do?
Well, there's the inline editing widget, kind of like that macOS Spotlight search. But for code, you hit a key combo, and boom, you can give instructions right there in your code.
So I can tell it, refactor this to be more efficient, and it'll do it.
Basically, yeah. Or like generate some code for user authentication, and it just does it.
This is why they call it AI native, huh? Not just an add-on, it's built into everything. What else?
Intelligent code completion. Most IDEs have that, basic suggestions.
Right.
But Aide uses advanced AI models. It offers context-aware suggestions.
So it's not just words, it's like completing thoughts.
Exactly. Saves time, makes your code more accurate.
Okay, this AST navigation thing is where I get lost. Sounds very technical.
It is a bit more niche, yeah. AST stands for Abstract Syntax Tree. It's a way to represent the structure of your code, like a family tree, but for code.
So instead of going line by line, I can jump between parts of the code based on this tree.
Right. Think of it like using headings on a website to navigate. Gives you a higher level view.
Bird's eye view.
Exactly.
So this Aide thing, is it just for coding superstars?
That's the beauty of open source. It's for everyone.
And since it's open source, people can contribute too, right?
Oh, yeah, anyone can. Bug reports, feature ideas, even coding.
So a whole community working on it.
Yep. A real collaborative effort.
I have to say, this is pretty exciting stuff. Like a peek into the future of coding.
It really is. Aide shows what happens when you mix AI with open source.
Okay, so we've seen what it can do. But let's zoom out for a second. How might AI native IDEs change software development as a whole?
That's the big question. Lots to consider there. We should definitely dig into that next. Back to this Aide thing.
Yeah, you were saying, how could AI native IDEs change software development as a whole?
Well, first off, I think it's going to make developers way more productive. Imagine all those little tedious tasks. Bug fixes, formatting, all that stuff.
You get the AI to handle it.
Right. Developers can focus on the bigger picture, the creative parts.
So less time wrestling with details, more time building cool stuff.
Exactly. It's like an extra brain working with you, one that never gets tired.
And what about the quality of the code itself? Could AI actually help people write better code?
Definitely. AI can analyze code, suggest improvements, even enforce those coding standards.
It's like a built-in code reviewer, always checking your work.
Kinda, but it's more than that. AI can actually help developers learn and get better.
How so?
By watching what the AI does, developers can pick up best practices, see how to avoid mistakes.
So it's a constant learning loop.
Exactly. Aide could be like a personal coding mentor for every developer.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, but what about the downsides? Are there any risks with all this AI integration?
Sure, every technology has its challenges. One concern is over-reliance on AI. If developers get too used to these AI tools, they might lose some of their core skills.
Like using a calculator for every math problem. You get the answer, but you don't really understand the math.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta find that balance. Use the AI, but don't forget the fundamentals.
Makes sense. Anything else to worry about?
Well, some people are worried about the job market, Will AI replace human programmers altogether?
Yeah, automation changing industries, it's a valid concern.
It is, but I think AI is more likely to augment human capabilities, not replace them.
So collaboration, not competition.
Right. AI handles the routine stuff. Developers can focus on the hard, creative problems.
Like an architect designs a building, but you need skilled workers to actually build it.
Perfect analogy. AI is the architect, developers are the builders.
So instead of being afraid of AI, developers should see it as a tool.
Absolutely. It's about finding the strengths of both humans and AI working together.
And maybe this even inspires a whole new generation of developers, people excited about working with AI.
That's a cool thought. Coding could become more accessible and engaging because of AI.
It's an exciting time. Aide is just one example of how AI is changing software development. But there's a lot more to explore, especially the ethics of it all. What happens when AI writes code that affects people's lives? Who's responsible when things go wrong?
Big questions, and not always easy answers. But we need to be asking them as we enter this new era of AI. And that's what we'll be getting into in the last part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've seen what Aide can do. We talked about how it could change software development. But there's one more thing we need to talk about.
Responsibility.
Right. Yeah. It's cool to talk about all these features and efficiency, but code has real consequences out there in the world.
For sure. Software is everywhere these days. Cars, healthcare, finance, it's all running on code.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, and with AI getting more involved in writing that code, we have to start asking, what happens when AI makes a mistake? Who's responsible?
It's a tough one. Is it the developer who used the tool? The company that made the tool? Is it even the AI itself?
It's almost like a philosophy question.
Right.
And honestly, we don't have all the answers yet. Legal systems, society, everyone is still trying to figure this out.
Especially since this technology is changing so fast. It seems like every day there's some new AI tool that's supposed to change everything.
And that's great. But it also means we need to be thinking about the ethics of all this right now. And we can't just wait for problems to happen and then react.
So how do we build ethics into AI development? Especially when it comes to something as complex as coding.
Well, transparency is a good start. We need to understand how these AI systems work, how they make decisions, how they learn, even what kinds of biases they might have.
Biases, like human biases. Can AI code actually be biased?
Oh yeah, definitely. Remember, they learn from data. And that data can have all sorts of biases baked in. If we're not careful, AI could make those biases even worse.
So it's not just about code that works, it's about code that's fair.
Exactly. It's a big responsibility for everyone involved with AI. We need to think about how our work affects the whole world.
It feels like we're at a crossroads. We have this amazing technology, but we have to use it responsibly.
That's a good way to put it.
This has been a great deep dive. We went from the nuts and bolts of Aide to the ethics of it all. It's clear that AI is changing things fast, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Definitely. And to everyone listening, keep exploring this stuff. Keep asking questions. The future of AI is in our hands. Let's make it a good one.
Well said. Until next time.